And, it's funny that you say that you want to grow every year. And I think that it just comes with, or at least from me, the presumption that we all, last year, it was like a year that you just go, woo, and that it's okay, at least in my mind. I'm thinking, you know what? I may have closed 65% of what I closed the year before and the year before that. But I accepted that as, hey, that's cool with me because I was knocking it out of the park the last couple of years and had that big run up with refis. And refis will come back at some point again because rates have lifted, right? But when you and I had dinner last night, we were talking a little bit about that, and you said, Steve, that's unacceptable.
That pisses me off.
Pisses you off. Well, I'm
First
pissed
year
off.
I've ever had in 22
that pisses
where I went
me
backwards.
off.
First year backwards in 22 years was last year.
That is absurd to even think that, number one, that your trajectory has been upward every year since you got in the industry. And last year, you still knocked it out of the park with, if I looked at any other originator or team, that would be a record year for them. But you're upset about that. Dive in a little further. Why?
Well, a rule is to have your best year every year. That's what I'm committed to. Like, I don't want to do this until I'm 75, right? And so if somebody else can do it, I got the same amount of hours in a day. If I'm showing up at work, why aren't I doing the things I need to be doing?
But what if you are doing the things that you're doing?
The market's the market. The market sucks, right?
Yeah, market sucks.
But the market's the market.
Yeah.
It's a sucky market, but it's still the market, right? So that just means that I need to be in deeper relationship with more people. And the truth is, for you and me and other guys out there listening to this, is that we got lazy, content, complacent during the COVID years, right? Oh, we can do this on Zoom. Don't have to bring people in the office anymore. Oh, we don't have to spend money taking realtors to coffees and happy hours, right? And so we took them for granted because you walked outside and loans fell in your lap.
Well, because the Aarons of the world were out there taking them to coffee and to lunch and to happy hours. When we were, and to your point, fat and happy, we can use air quotes because we were grinding. We just, deals were coming in left and right. You were doing all you could to do to take calls and return voice messages. So I would counter the fact, I know you weren't getting fat and happy. You were busy.
There was a point, and I can't remember when, in 2021, when rates dipped below 3, we had over 100 people on a waiting list to refi. And I was hiring, and you couldn't hire anyone with experience, right?
No.
And so that's when we were hiring and training and working a waiting list. And it was just whoever got through on the phone got to refi. I mean, it was stupid, and you know what we did? This is what, shamefully, I'm like, I'm good. Man, I'm so good. Look what I've done. Look at me. Yeah, and then you fall on your face and you go backwards and you don't have your best year the next year. And
was that for you, was that a reality check? That, okay, I need to get back to the basics?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude,
and
I got
have
distracted.
You done that? Yeah.
Yeah, we're back in the game grinding. Last year was just surviving. The second half of last year, right? And so we're back in the game. We're back hunting. I'm being intentional about who I chase, intentional about my effort. I think about right now, two of the words that stick with me are intentional and impactful.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to be much more intentional. And to me, that word means discipline.
Yep.
Doing the things I know I need to do.
Yep.
If that means having an outbound power hour once a day, Mondays calling realtors, Tuesday calling listing agents, whatever it is, being intentional, having a plan and working your plan.
Yep.
Right? And then when you're on those calls and when you're in these meetings, being impactful.
Okay.
Listening, finding a need, adding value, really
deepening the
impactful.
Relationship, basically, right?
Instead of just going through the motions. We went through the motions the last few years.
Yep.
Right?
So how many realtors do you work with personally that are in your sphere that you get consistent business from?
I've got 25 great realtors. I know a couple hundred realtors that I'm chasing, calling on.
Okay. And so let's unpack that.
Okay.
Because I think there's a lot of value in that, because it's not an easy task for one of us to try to be a great dad or a great mom and be a great originator and a great manager, but also in our world, it is about the relationships and the trust that we build with our realtor referral sources, right? And with me, I do builder business as well, and but we also have our past clients that we get referrals from. So how are you able to manage those relationships with, let's say, your top 25, because that's not an easy task to keep them all warm and fuzzy. So if they do know that, hey, I care about you, I love you, I enjoy spending time with you, how do you make that happen?
Yeah. You just don't have a choice, and you got to make it happen, right?
Yeah.
I think you can have a plan.
Okay.
So it makes sense to touch base with realtors on a Monday, right?
Okay.
Having theme days, and this is what we teach at the core. This isn't me that came up with any brilliance, right?
Yeah.
This is having theme days, and so Monday we call realtors. Why is it a good idea to call realtors on Monday?
They probably had a deal that they were putting together over the way they were showing people property over the weekend.
Maybe worked an open house over the weekend.
Did you run
into
anybody?
They got some sign calls.
Yep.
Right? And so touching base with them on Monday.
Okay.
And then when I'm reaching out and calling my top 50 realtors on Monday, my sole purpose is to set 5 meetings. Right? So if I'm calling my 50, I'm like, hey, Steve, I miss you. I hadn't talked to you in a while. How was your weekend? Did you play or did you work?
Yep.
Yeah. How's Sebastian doing?
Yep. Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And listen, I'd love to get together with you. Do you got time for lunch on Thursday or next Tuesday?
Okay. And you're trying to get in front of how many people in a week?
15 face-to-faces.
15
5 break
face-to-face.
breads. Uh-huh.
I haven't done 15.
That's not very hard.
No, it's not.
4 a day, 3 or 4 a day.
Well, it shouldn't be hard because you have a system in place that allows for that. But I think that someone trying to wrap their mind around, someone that's not doing that, go, holy shit, how am I supposed to get in front of 50? Well, you have to make the calls first. And if that is your goal and that's your plan, you say, well, I don't have those 15 sets, so I've got to make another 40 phone calls.
Yeah, if you set 5 meetings a day, that's 25 a week. 15 to 20 are going to keep.
And are those are coffees, those are lunches, those are happy hours? Or
those are all break breads.
Okay.
And then there's also clients coming in.
Okay.
Count that as a face-to-face.
Do y'all try to have clients come into the office when you apply? Because that deepens the relationship?
Getting back to that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a whole bunch of reasons. I could spend the rest of the time talking about why I have the client in the office. But for sure, I mean, you don't deepen relationships over the phone. Like, where have you and I deepened our relationship?
Yeah, in person.
And doing what?
Yeah, breaking bread.
Breaking bread or on the golf course, right?
Yeah. And so I'm gonna bust on you a little bit. You said my top 25 realtors. I've got a couple hundred, and then you pivoted. You go my top 50.
Right.
So what does somebody have to do to get from 26 to 25 on your list? Or how do you get 26 to 6? Like, how are you managing that base that you have with your realtors that you are doing business with?
Yeah, so tactically,
yes,
there are realtors that I'm in constant conversation with because we got always
deal
we're talking
flow.
We're right, and so they're easy. Monday, I'm just checking in on them, but we're talking to them during the week, and there's probably 10 realtors that I'm talking to during the week on their transactions anyway, right?
Okay.
And then there's about 25 realtors I work with total that will close about 4 transactions or more. I call that an account, right?
Okay.
And so 1 to 3 closings a year, we call that a top 50 realtor, right?
Okay.
1 to 3 closings.
Okay.
There are a lot of realtors that go on that list.
There are a lot in that.
Yeah, onesie twosies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then 4 to 10 closings a year, we call those accounts.
Okay.
And then 10 plus, we call those guys whells, right?
A whale?
A channel account or a whale.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's right. So I'm focused on 25 and I'm focused on chasing 20, adding 20 new wells. I know to grow in this market in this year, I've got to pick up 10 or 15 more big agents.